Islam is an elevated version of that. He could get you down, he could beat your face in, he could submit you down there, or he could stand and strike with you.
It seems.
But if not work, we're training so hard, and anything can happen inside the cage, but I will be ready.
We're just days away from one of the biggest super fights of the year. Kamaru Usman fires off a bold take that Islam isn't just a grappler, he can finish you any way he wants. Starting things off, Islam Makhachev addressed the biggest question people have been asking about this fight, his size at welterweight. He said that when he faced off with Della Maddalena, they looked about the same, and he doesn't feel small for the division at all. Islam explained that he followed his program carefully, added the right weight, and feels fully prepared for welterweight.
Yeah, when I face with the Jack, I see we're same size, and I don't think I'm small for the welterweight. I did my program very well, gain weight, and ready.
Islam also responded to people who think he'll lose if the fight stays on the feet. He made it clear he's not just a grappler, he's comfortable striking, wrestling, and mixing everything together. He pointed out that he's traded shots with fighters like Dustin Poirier and Alexander Volkanovski. And if JDM defends the takedowns, he's more than ready to strike again.
Man, I just want to tell everybody I can fight with anybody in the striking, grappling, wrestling, because I'm not just grappler. I can strike. I strike with Dustin, with Volk. He can defend my wrestling, but I will strike and I will try to take him down again. This is not striking match or grappling match. This is MMA fight.
Enter Della Maddalena. He believes the matchup with Belal Muhammad was the perfect warm-up for the big event, but he's fully aware that Islam is a completely different challenge. Jack explained that Belal does some things differently from Islam, whereas Islam does many things better than Belal. For JDM, that 5-round test gave him the confidence and experience he needed, but he knows this next step is on an entirely different level.
I think it's a different matchup. I think some things Belal does better than Islam, and there's a lot of things that Islam does better than Belal, so yeah, we're expecting a tough fight.
JDM continued and said that keeping his title is the #1 priority, and that the pound-for-pound label is subjective and doesn't hold much weight in his eyes. What truly motivates him is the chance to earn a clean, decisive win over Islam Makhachev, a victory that would speak louder than any ranking and solidify his place at the top of the division.
What do you want the most out of this victory?
I mean, just to retain my belt, it doesn't really matter. I guess the pound for pound is very subjective. It doesn't really mean much, though. Just going in there, get the win over Islam is the #1 goal.
Next, Malcolm Wellmaker shared his excitement for the matchup, calling it a historic banger. He said Islam Makhachev has been one of the most dominant fighters of this era, and fans have been waiting to see him move up in weight. Now that the super fight is happening at Madison Square Garden, he feels it's incredible to witness, and even more special to be part of the moment. Despite the challenge ahead, he still favors Islam to win.
Historic banger of a fight. Islam is one of the most dominant fighters that we've seen, and we've all been waiting to see if he was going to move up. And now that he is and is having this super fight at MSG, it's incredible to be able to not just witness it, but be a part of it. But I do have Islam winning.
Benyil Dariush also shared his thoughts on the matchup, admitting it's a tough one to predict. He said that if JDM can establish his feints and control the range the same way he did against Belal, he'll be a very difficult fight for Makhachev. He also pointed out that moving up to 170 isn't always an easy adjustment, even if gaining weight sounds simple on paper. Because of that, Benyil is leaning slightly toward JDM, but only by a small margin.
I'm leaning towards JDM now, but we'll see. I really don't know, because if JDM comes in and he's able to establish his fakes like he did with Belal and establish his range like he did with Belal, I think he's going to be a really difficult fight for Makhachev. And then Makhachev adjusting to 170 might not be that easy. I know it's easier to go up in weight, but adjusting isn't that simple. So yeah, I'm going to lean with JDM, but not by much.
Meanwhile, Luke Thomas broke down the fight by saying Islam could absolutely find success on the feet. MMA is chaotic, and anything can happen with small gloves. But for him, the real key is Islam's ability to mix his wrestling with his striking. If he can blend those phases and control JDM, the fight leans his way. If he can't get Jack down or hold him, then the matchup becomes much easier to favor JDM. According to Luke, that single question decides everything.
Could Islam get the better of him on the feet? Of course. I mean, they're wearing small gloves. There's a lot of things moving, different directions. It's MMA. It's wild. It's chaotic. Absolutely. But really, it comes down to Islam being able to mix the game up. Can he or can't he? And if he can, to what extent and where, and what does it yield? That's where this fight is won and lost. That is where everything happens. Because if it's just straight up, if I told you Islam can't get him down and can't hold him for any meaningful time against the fence, that would make the pick relatively easy. You would just pick JDM. But we don't know if that's the case, and we don't know to what extent it will be the case, even if it's at least somewhat true. That is the main focus of this fight.
Talking about the training camps, all eyes are on Jack Della Maddalena, locked in and laser focused as fight week arrives. In these final days of camp, he looks sharp, composed, and fully dialed in. His timing, movement, and confidence all point to a fighter ready for the biggest night of his career at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful. Lovely feet.
On Islam's side, the confidence is undeniable. In the final days of camp, he looks powerful, precise, and completely in control. He's added size without sacrificing speed, and every training clip shows a champion operating at his absolute best. His team calls this the best version of Islam they've ever seen, looking ready to dominate at MSG. Moreover, Sean Brady also gave his prediction and leaned toward Jack Della Maddalena getting the job done. He admitted it's a tough fight to call, saying Jack could win, but Islam is dangerous enough to turn the tables with a submission at any moment. Brady added that he's mainly excited to watch how it plays out and hopes the UFC lets him sit front row after he gets his own win that night.
I'm going to go with Jack. I think Jack's going to get it done.
You think he gets it done inside 5 or goes to decision?
I don't know, man. It's a tough fight. And I say that, and then Islam could go out there and sub him. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to watching it. Hopefully, UFC lets me be front row after I get a win.
Cody Haddon thinks Jack Della Maddalena can stop Islam Makhachev, mainly because the move to welterweight is a big jump for Islam. He believes Jack's strength, conditioning, and late-round power shown in the Belal fight will make the difference. Haddon expects Islam to get early takedowns, but doubts he can hold Jack down, predicting JDM finds a finish as the fight goes on.
He's going to KO Islam as much as Islam. He's a phenomenal fighter too, but I think that welterweight's a big jump up, 15 pounds compared to lightweight, and Jack, he's great at that weight. You see him in the performance against Belal, heavy wrestler, couldn't really get him down, do much, and then Jack's a guy that can finish you even when he's tired. His conditioning's phenomenal. He's got a chin. He won't be, Islam might get him down a couple times, but I don't think he'll be able to hold him down, in my opinion. And then I think as the fight goes on, he starts to slow down, and Jack still carries that power through in the 4th, 5th round and probably finishes him then.
In a recent podcast, Henry Cejudo gave his opinion, saying the only real path he sees for Islam Makhachev is through his grappling, especially his wrestling. If Islam can't dominate on the mat, Henry believes the momentum swings heavily toward Jack Della Maddalena.
Then we're going to strike. The only way, in my opinion, of Islam Makhachev winning this fight is going to have to be through the grappling, particularly the wrestling.
Kamaru Usman pushed back on that take, warning people not to underestimate Islam Makhachev's striking. He explained that while Khabib was purely a pressure grappler, Islam is the evolved version. Someone who can take you down, submit you, or hurt you badly on the feet. Usman said it's wrong to assume that wrestling is Islam's only path, because he has multiple ways to win and has proven it against elite strikers before.
Hey, don't sleep on Islam's striking. Now, Islam can strike. That's the difference between, obviously, Khabib was grappler. Khabib is coming at you. He's going to change levels. He's going to put you down. He's going to beat your face in. Islam is an elevated version of that. He can get you down. He can beat your face in. He can submit you down there. Or he can stand and strike with you, hurt you, then finish you. So that was a blasphemous statement, as if that's the only way that he can win. No, Islam can win multiple ways.
Usman added that JDM has proven toughness for years, often finding ways to win even in tough moments. but he still sees the clearest advantage on Islam's side, especially in the grappling. If Islam Makhachev gets the fight to the mat and secures strong positions, Usman believes that's where the fight can quickly tilt in his favor.
And with JDM, he's been carrying something for a long time. Even the fights where he wasn't doing so well in, and he still came back and was able to pull it off. And so, like I've said, this is a closer fight than most people think. But if you had to say, looking at the fights where one guy has a bigger advantage, it would be Islam in the grappling aspect. If Islam is capable of, if Islam is able to get this fight down to the canvas, I think that's where he shines, because we know if Islam jumps on the front headlock, it's a long day for a lot of people.
Furthermore, Leon Edwards said the fight depends on how Islam handles his first bout at 170. If Islam wrestles heavy early, he leans toward him, but JDM's ability to get back up and push the pace keeps it close. He mentioned Islam's past cardio concerns and admitted he's still torn, calling the matchup a true 50-50.
I'll keep going back and forth on the main event to see who wins. I think it all depends on how Islam looks first at 170, and if he comes out in heavy wrestle, there may be a probably edge Islam. But I feel like we'll know from the first round how the fight goes. I feel like JDM does get taken down in most of his fight, but he's great at getting back to his feet, and he puts on the pace straight away. And Islam has shown in the past cardio issues as well. So I don't know. I keep going back and forth on who wins. I'm kind of still 50-50.
Next, Khabib said this moment feels special, with the team winning 10 professional fights this year, and now Islam chasing a second belt. He called it father's plan, believing everything is lining up perfectly. Khabib noted that the team is performing at its best, and the timing couldn't be better. He said winning the welterweight title at Madison Square Garden would be a beautiful milestone. Above all, he believes Islam is ready to make history.
We win 10 professional fights, and now biggest fight in history on our team is coming. Islam gonna fight for the second belt. This is what we call father's plan. And I think I'm doing good. I'm doing not bad. Everybody winning, everybody on top, and it will be beautiful things when next week Islam will win welterweight title in Madison Square Garden Arena. It's biggest arena in the world, and we're fighting for the second belt, and I can't wait and for this legacy fight. And I really believe Islam can make this history.
Moving on, Islam talked about what motivates him, saying becoming a two-division champion would be huge for him and for Dagestan. Winning the welterweight belt would make him only the 10th fighter in UFC history to achieve that, and he called it a dream and a massive moment in his career.
First Dagestan, this is big things. And I'm gonna be number 10 if I get the belt, number 10 who have two division champions. It's a big things for me. It's a dream and big fight.
Sharing his take on the matchup, Bo Nigel framed it as a classic grappler versus striker battle. To him, everything hinges on who can impose their style, Islam controlling on the ground, or JDM keeping it standing and outstriking him. He emphasized that both athletes are among the best in the world, which is why this fight stands out as such an exciting clash.
As a fan of the sport, I'm super pumped as far as analyzing it and what's going on. Of course, it's a little obvious. You got a grappler versus striker. It's really just about whether or not who can impose their will on the fight, right? Is Islam going to be able to control it and get things on the ground and hold JDM down, or will JDM be able to keep it on the feet and outstrike him? We'll see. I think that both guys are some of the, couple of the best guys in the world, so it'll be fun.
Sharing his view on the matchup, Rodolfo Vieira said this is going to be a great and very tough fight. He acknowledged Islam as the favorite, but he still believes Jack has a real chance to win. It won't be easy, but in his eyes, JDM has what it takes to pull it off.
Oh, it's gonna be a great fight, a tough fight. But I know Islam is the favorite fighter, but I think Jack can win this fight but it's hard. But I think he can win.
With fight night just days away, both Islam and JDM look fully locked in for their biggest test yet. All the talk and predictions are done, now only the cage will decide. Madison Square Garden is ready, and so is the world watching.